Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Welcome one and all. My name is Greg Taylor, and I'm an advisory board member at Everest Leadership Academy. I want to welcome you to this wonderful evening, which I hope will be one of inspiration. And so far, we're off to a good start because the weather is cooperating, thank goodness. I want to welcome you also on behalf of my fellow board members, and that's Dave Fall, Elliot Powell, Armid Olanian, and Marcia Rodesevich. We're delighted you're together with us this evening, and we thank you for your support. And to start, I would be remiss if I didn't thank Ray for opening up his summer cottage for our use here on Long Island Sound. Quite impressive, Ray. Thank you. Yeah. The Everest Leadership Academy is now in its 7th operating year, engaged specifically and purposefully in the vital activity of reaching promising young adults in high school to complement rigorous classroom academics with an introduction to and awareness of the soft skills necessary for leadership. These soft skills comprise what we like to call EQ, which is the emotional intelligence that complements our IQ. Wendy and I were just discussing this. EQ and leadership awareness, maybe for some lucky few, happens in the home. Other lucky folks perhaps have the good fortune to have a mentor along the way. The Academy very specifically and humbly seeks to level this playing field and to do it early in life. And this is precisely the nature of our engagement, reaching promising students to provide leadership insights and critically by entering into a dialogue to reveal the social character of leadership. We do this through direct personal mentoring, moderating leadership roundtables, and we follow through by providing merit-based scholarship grants. Ray and I were talking about the 7 years, and we think it probably distills more down to 4.5, given the headwinds and constraints of COVID. The Academy's approach is an in-person approach, but nevertheless, it's a small team with reach, impact, and growing results. Over 100 students have been mentored across more than 10 partner schools and not-for-profit affiliates, graduating more than 40 alumni with over 40 scholarships, both. And our graduates have gone on to attend 40 colleges and universities. I'll mention just a few: Notre Dame, Dartmouth, Manhattanville College, and NYU. So I believe this evening is about recognizing and celebrating inspiration, both to be inspired and to take action to inspire. I'm certain each of us can easily recall and bring to mind those moments of inspiration in our earlier lives, the ones that created inflection points on our collective path to success. Someone cared, something clicked, and growth and positivity occurred. And this calls to mind a quote from Wade Boggs, quote, "A positive attitude causes a chain reaction of positive thoughts, events, and outcomes. It is a catalyst, and it sparks extraordinary results." That's what we're looking for right there, extraordinary results for our next generation of leaders. Boggs also famously believed that the attitude we bring to life determines our lives, specifically not by what happens to us, but by how we react to what happens. These quotes, thank you, Wade, these quotes underscore what are first principles of ELA founder Ray Sozzi, and providing these sparks are the core mission of the Academy. Now, I have to admit, I benefit occasionally from some remedial sparking every now and then. It's also possible I'm an inspiration junkie. So good news. We will hear stories and testimonials tonight from Academy students and our honoree, and I hope these remind us how vital these attributes are and how impactful the work of the Academy is. Thank you again for supporting the inspiration that the Academy is bringing to the future leaders of our great country. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the brilliant Sabrina Shortle, Everest Leadership Academy Director of Strategic Marketing, to share some updates on the Academy. Sabrina?
Good evening. Thank you, Greg, for a warm introduction. Tonight we're going to be hearing directly from students, the ones who've lived the Everest experience. Learn from pioneers like Lily Breitfelder, and honor trailblazers like Kathryn Webster. But first, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the journey of the Academy and where we're going. Many of you have been on this journey since the beginning, and others here tonight are new friends. Either way, I think we can all agree it's truly inspiring to witness the founding vision of Everest grow and evolve. The Everest Leadership Academy was founded with a clear and ambitious purpose: to unlock the potential of young people by awakening the leader in each of us. The belief that leadership is not reserved for a select few, it lives in all of us. It lives in young people willing to rise to the challenge. Circumstance does not define your future, and believing in your own potential is the first step towards leading others. In the past several years, Everest has equipped hundreds of students with a toolbox to do just that. Emotional intelligence, decision-making under pressure, teamwork, conflict resolution, financial literacy, and applied leadership. This isn't a theory, it's a transformation. We've seen it in classrooms, on field trips, in mentor sessions. We know our formula works, but we also know we've barely scratched the surface. At the heart of Everest is our founder and CEO, Raymond Sozzi. Ray is not just the architect of our vision, he is our greatest differentiator and our greatest strength. His book, The Leader in Each of Us, is more than required reading at the Academy. It's the philosophical foundation we build from every day. It explains why our leadership model is not just academic, it's personal. It's practical, and it built for the world tomorrow. If you haven't read it, lucky for you, it's in front of you tonight, so I encourage you all to give it a try. When Ray shared his idea of a rebrand with me, it wasn't about logos or taglines. It was about scale. It was about reaching more students faster and bringing more people into the mission who believe, as he does, that the youth of today must be armed with the tools to lead tomorrow. So yes, we are rebranding. Not just visually, but structurally and strategically. We're building a platform to do more than inform, but to ignite. Our new website will be more than a digital front door. It will be a home for stories, learning, connection, and growth, where educators, students, donors, and mentors can all come together. And that's only the beginning. We are packaging our proven curriculum into new and powerful ways, making modular formats adaptable for schools and community organizations to implement with ease. Because we know the biggest barrier to success isn't ability, it's access to the tools to nurture it. We're also doubling down on mentorship. With the new structures implemented, students will have access to professionals who reflect the paths they hope to follow. Entrepreneurs, educators, business leaders, people with firsthand experience who are ready to walk with them instead of talk to them. Because building real, lasting connections does more for young people than any textbook could. In addition, we're formalizing partnerships with schools and organizations to expand through affiliate programs, bringing Everest to new communities. Because we recognize lasting change never happens in isolation. It happens through partnership. Our ambitions are clear. We're moving from hundreds to thousands. Thousands of young people equipped with not just the knowledge, but the confidence, the support, and a sense of purpose. Thank you for being a part of our journey so far. The real work is just beginning, and I'm very excited for you all to be along the ride. Thank you. Now I'm thrilled to introduce someone who embodies everything we've talked about tonight. Lily Breitfelder is a leader, an educator, and an author, all at the age of 16. She saw a need in her community and created a solution. She founded Launching Future Leaders, a youth enrichment program grounded in science-backed skills like emotional intelligence, purpose, and grit, with her recently published 10 Superpowers to Leadership for Kids. Lily is proof that when we empower young people, the impact goes far beyond the classroom. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the outstanding, the inspiring Lily.
so much for the lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Lily Breitfelder, and I'm involved in leadership because I want to invest in the future, kids. I moved to Greenwich about 7 years ago and learned early on that there are families struggling to meet basic needs, and consequently, their children suffer. With this in mind, I started an enrichment program for kids called Launching Future Leaders to help more children succeed. I developed the program around a very specific set of skills that Angela Duckworth's Character Lab identified as scientifically proven to help kids thrive. Skills such as emotional intelligence, purpose, grit, and growth mindset. Emotional intelligence is one of the most critical because it's the cornerstone for navigating complex human interactions. In kids' terms, it ensures people feel seen and heard, which I have found is often the key to unlocking one's full potential. I've gotten to know so many bright kids who just needed a little extra encouragement to boost their performance and overall confidence. When I read that mentored youth are 130% more likely to assume leadership roles, 78% more likely to volunteer, and 55% less likely to skip school, I decided to expand my program. Funded by a grant from the Greenwich Country Day School Center for Public Good, the program is now running at 3 organizations in Greenwich. To help guide the classes, I wrote a book last year called 10 Superpowers of Leadership for Kids, which captures some of the skills we explore together each week. We have some copies here tonight in front of you. And as we look ahead at the rapidly changing global landscape in the formidable wave of generative AI, it's more critical than ever to equip students with leadership skills such as emotional intelligence in order for them and our country to compete at the highest levels in the future. As automation takes over more routine tasks, emotional intelligence is going to be indispensable. In fact, a recent McKinsey study reports that skills such as empathy, creativity, design thinking, communication, and collaboration are going to be the most critical and in-demand skills in the future. As Mr. Sozzi says, leadership is truly not about power. It's about empowering others. I'm deeply grateful that I've had the opportunity to witness firsthand how a little extra time, attention, and encouragement can inspire students to set and achieve ambitious goals. Thank you so much.
Where are they? Okay.
Kathryn's not in here right now. Sorry? I don't know the program. Kathryn just had to put it back. Well, not yet. It's a student testimony.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. Yeah. Okay, everyone. We're about to move to the next exciting portion of the program, which is student testimonials. And I think this is going to be really fun. And so we'll now have a chance to hear firsthand from ELA current participants as well as alumni. So please join me in welcoming 3 students from All Hallows High School in the Bronx, starting with Andros Segaldo. Andros is a senior, and he's leadership chapter president at All Hallows.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Thank you. I'm nervous, so. All right. Good evening, everyone. As you heard, my name is Andrew Salgado, and I'm proud to stand here today as the president of the Everest Leadership Academy at my school. Thanks to the Academy and my school community, I stand here before you not only to represent this program, but to show you how far I've come because of it. In my second year as president, I reached out directly to our guidance counselors and asked them to recommend students they believed would benefit from the Academy. After Ray Sozzi's first session with them, nearly 30 students joined us, and from there, Everest began to grow. I first did this because I knew a few underclassmen who had incredible emotional intelligence, but I knew there were more out there who I didn't know personally. The counselors helped identify them. Even if I didn't know, as I said before, each student, I believed in their potential. Growing up in Manhattan, I often asked myself, what do I want to stand for? What do I want to be remembered for? Before Everest, I struggled with my confidence. I doubted my abilities to lead. But coming from a Catholic education, I was taught that if you want to make something of yourself and serve others, you first have to believe in yourself and then have the courage to act. Through Everest, I've learned how to speak up, take initiative, and support others around me, whether through group projects, workshops, or one-on-one conversations with mentors who believed in me. I've grown not just as a student, but as a person. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest, learning from failures, and lifting others as you climb. Everest didn't just teach me how to lead. It taught me that my voice matters, my actions have power, and my story has purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. It's very well said. Many of us have learned the hard way that there's no such thing as perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Now I'd like to introduce Shyler Aviles, a sophomore at All Hallows. Shyler?
Hello, everyone. I'm Shyler Aviles, Vice President of Everest Leadership Program at All Hallows. I come from a family of hard workers and talented individuals who've shown me that success isn't just about reaching one goal, it's about how we grow when plans change. One of my familial inspirations is my uncle Joshua. He's 6'4", and his goal was to play in the NBA, but his plans shifted when he realized he couldn't reach the draft. But he didn't give up. Instead, he found a new passion as a professional influencer, using his talent and skills to create his own path. He has been able to work with Overtime, ESPN, and even the NBA, as well as playing in semi-professional basketball leagues, living out his dream by turning his talent into purpose. Like my uncle, I've always been driven to lead, create, and grow my talents. Joining Everest gave me the tools to sharpen these skills. During my first Everest event, I was introduced to the idea of an inflection point. A moment when your identity and direction shifts. And I knew this was mine. Everest isn't just about leadership, it was about choosing to become someone greater. Everest didn't just guide my path, it transformed who I am. It taught me how to reflect, how to lead with purpose, and how to recognize leadership in others, especially those who don't yet see it in themselves. Everest's mission resonates with my ideals of giving back to the community, spreading positivity through leadership, and embracing our weaknesses, building upon our strengths as a collective, oftentimes bettering one another in the process. Although my school, All Hallows, is closing, I'm excited to carry Everest's mission to Fordham Preparatory. And I'll attend there to work and grow and to expand the program. Because leadership isn't just defined by the things I do, it's rooted in who I've become. And I'll carry that mission with me always.
Very well said. Thank you, Schuyler. Now I'd like to welcome Bridget Mulligan. Bridget is a junior and chapter vice president at All Hallows.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bridget Mulligan. I'm a junior at All Hallows High School. When I first came to this school, I knew it had a long history of being all boys. Walking in as one of the only 4 girls in the entire grade was intimidating. It was tough at first. It felt like we constantly had to prove that we belonged here. But over time, we found our voices. I became captain of the softball team, but before that, I joined the Everest leadership program, which honestly changed everything for me. The program gave us girls a space to lead, to grow, and to show that we're capable of so much more than what people expect. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned through Everest is about emotional intelligence, understanding ourselves and others, leading with empathy, communicating effectively, and staying grounded, especially when things get tough, because that's what real leadership is. Then when we got the news that the school would be closing in June, it hit hard. Just when we found our rhythm, it felt like it was all being taken away. But what I've learned here as a woman in a space that wasn't made for us is that we could lead anywhere we show up, we stand out, and we made our mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. That's an embodiment of the quote of not letting what life serves you up define you. So the challenge of having your school close is certainly a momentous one. But I heard from each of the 3 students about how they're taking that on board and going to their next chapter with a lot of positivity. So those are 3 students who are currently part of the leadership program. Now it's very interesting. I'd like to welcome Melvin Gomez. He's an ELA alumnus, and he's currently a rising junior at Manhattanville College. Melvin?
Good evening. My name is Melvin Gomez. I am of the All Hallows High School class of 2023, alum of the Everest Leadership Academy and currently a student at Manhattan University. Though outside the classroom, you'll probably find me either working in the family business or participating in my community as a volunteer firefighter. So essentially, I'm sleep deprived. I first got introduced to the Everest Leadership Academy in my freshman year of high school because 2 of my closest friends were a part of it. However, I didn't officially join until my junior year, and what I found was a space where leadership wasn't just talked about, it was practiced. I met Mr. Sozzi, who always reiterated the importance of leading with a smile and a handshake, which possibly explains why I've never seen him without an ear-to-ear smile on his face. Throughout the academy, I learned that the leadership isn't always about having the loudest voice in the room. Sometimes it's about listening, asking the right questions, taking initiative, being self-motivated, level-headed, and a visionary. It's about facing and adapting to adversity. I learned to lead with presence, not with pressure. That when you lead and help others up the mountain, you too reach the top. This mindset shift helped me in every part of my life today, from group projects at school to real-time decisions and emergency response. Furthermore, the academy offered me mentorship. I valued the conversations, the advice, and the hope provided by Mr. Sozzi's story. I saw that it doesn't matter where or what you came from. What matters is working hard. With hard work, success is achievable. Now, success to me is creating opportunities for those who come after you, more than the ones you had for yourself. Like how my parents, my teachers, and people like Mr. Sozzi did for me. my parents who immigrated from the Dominican Republic and worked hard to give me an All Hallows education, which enabled me to be here today, and continue to work hard to put me through higher education, something they did not have the opportunity to do. I am truly grateful for the experience and privilege to have been part of this program and now to be an alumni. It gave me the tools, but more importantly, the confidence to lead with both a smile and intention. Thank you to everyone who make programs like Everest possible. You're shaping the leaders who don't just climb mountains, they build bridges. Thank you for your time, and thank you for not actually asking us to climb Mount Everest.
Thank you. Very well said. Listen, I think that was very touching. It's great to hear personal stories of folks who are part of the Academy and how leadership is helping to develop them. And so those stories are personal, and that's wonderful. How about a last round of applause for all 4 of our sharers? Thank you. I think dessert and coffee is coming out shortly, and then we'll continue with the rest of the program. I hope you're enjoying the dessert and the coffee. We've come to the last segment of the program this evening. And for me personally, this is going to be quite a treat because I get to introduce Everest Leadership Academy founder, Ray Sozzi. Okay, there's a bit of formality to this, and then we'll have a personal note. Ray, are you ready? So Raymond Sozzi Sr. is a general management executive and entrepreneur with a successful track record in the tech industry as president and CEO of 8 different venture capital-backed software companies, where he orchestrated successful turnarounds and outstanding growth strategies. In 1999, Ray followed that up by joining Summit Partners, the prestigious growth equity, private equity, and venture capital firm, as executive in residence. In this advisory role, Ray played a key role acting as confidant, coach, and mentor to over 60 founders or first-time CEOs. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated strong leadership, strategy, analytical skills, and acts as a change agent in complex or challenging environments. Ray, every bit of that is correct, and it is very impressive. Ray has served on many public and private company boards of directors and is a member of the Association for Corporate Growth. In 2018, he founded the Everest Leadership Academy for underserved students to maximize their potential as leaders. He has published 3 books: My Life's Journey as CEO and Mentor, The Leader in Each of Us, and the CEO Handbook. He's also the author of Leadership, The Essence of Being a Mentor, which was published in Leader to Leader, a quarterly journal. On a personal note, it was my great fortune to meet Ray and work for him in one of those 8 CEO stints that he had. Believe it or not, Ray, that was 30 years ago.
You just gave away my age.
Yeah. And mine too. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very pleased and honored to introduce my mentor and great friend, Ray Sozzi.
So I know everybody can hear me? Yes. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset the bar because there's no way I can live up to Greg, and Lily and the students, and then you have the best yet to come. Where is Kate? Right here. So when I was running a bunch of companies, and this is true, by the way, I always wanted to be the dumbest person in the room. So I would meet with my management team, and I would have sales and marketing and R&D and all these people. And they said to me, why do you want to be the dumbest guy in a room? And the answer to that was, if I know more than my VP of marketing or my VP of development or my VP of sales or whatever, I probably have the wrong people. Because I want them to know on a vertical basis much more than I'll ever know. So I figured out early on in my career that you have to be an orchestra leader. You have to take all these diverse groups, whether it's marketing. Finance always hated marketing. Sales hated everybody. Or everybody hated sales, right? And so how do you take this group and make it all work? And that's what leadership is all about. So I'm going to reset the bar. I'm going to lower the expectations, because there's no way I'm going to meet Sabrina, Greg, Lily, the students, and the best is yet to come. So I want to thank Greg. William came up to me and he said, does he do this professionally, like an MC? I said, no, but this is Greg, right? You did a great job. We have the advisory board, which Greg announced. So you got Greg, and then we have Dave Fall in the back. I also, my appreciation to Lily. Where's Lily? There's Lily. Great job. The Academy students off to my left, I want to thank them. By the way, not easy at their age to get up in front of a group like this and speak the way they did. Now, we did a little rehearsal this evening, but they did a great job, and many thanks to you. We have All Hallows here to my left, and then across from me we have Notre Dame of Manhattan. It's an all-girls high school. I want to thank Sean Timmons. Where's Sean? There he is. So Sean is the Director of Technology and Business Development at the Academy, and he does all the staging and technology and everything else. And a final special thanks. There's a little story behind this, which I'll tell you. Sabrina, who came on board, she's now the Director of Strategic Marketing for the Academy. When she came on board not that long ago, I was in the middle of preparing all of this, and there's a lot of moving parts. So I was probably on the 50-yard line when she came on board. Within 2 weeks, took the place right down to the 1-yard line, and she got a touchdown. I want to thank you. Not only that, you gave one hell of a presentation. You really did. I want to thank the staff of the New York Athletic Club. I think they did a great job. They really did. So now, before I proceed, I just have a few words which I kind of want to express about the guiding principles at the Academy. At the Academy, we teach that leadership is not a title. Leadership is not a title, right? And I've met many CEOs, and as Greg said, I've mentored many CEOs. And if you have no followers, you're not leading, you're just taking a walk in the park. So it's not a title. Leadership is not having power. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people define leadership as, oh, that's power. Just the opposite, right? Leadership is about empowering people. Now, when you do that, and I'm sure there's maybe a few CEOs or whatever in the audience, what does that really mean? Well, what it means is to be a leader, you have to make yourself vulnerable. And when I was mentoring CEOs, they would look at me, and this was always, at dinner over a bottle of wine, and they would say, what do you mean I have to make myself vulnerable? And you do. And the reason why you have to make yourself vulnerable is because you have to delegate. Now, there's always an exception to that, and I just met Wendy, and I'm sure you will agree with that. There's always an exception to that, which is what? If it's a startup company and you have a staff of 3 people, you don't do much delegating. You pretty much control, right? Absolute control, and that's the way it should be. Steve Jobs, who we all know at Apple, he never delegated anything. And look at what he accomplished. So the early stages of a startup is purely visionary. It has nothing to do with execution initially. At some point, you have to execute. And so it's all about the vision, but that's by far the exception. But generally speaking, in a CEO role, you have to make yourself vulnerable. And the reason for that is, and I always wanted to be the dumbest person in the room. And the reason for that is I wanted to be vulnerable. So I delegated everything to my management team. And the reason why I did that is if you don't, guess who takes on the accountability? I do. I hate accountability. So I just delegated. Right? And once you do that, you make yourself vulnerable. But that's what it's like to be a leader. At the academy, and the students know, a leadership style, for the most part, 80%, the 80-20 rule. 80% is a handshake and a smile. And if there's any takeaways tonight, the handshake and the smile, right? Now, the handshake can't be, one of these. It's got to be firm. And the reason why it has to be firm is because you convey what? Self-confidence to that other person. The smile has to be sincere, and the smile is, I care about who you are as a person. And I will guarantee you in life, the handshake and the smile, you're 80% there. The other 20%, that's tough. We also believe at the Academy that the leadership style embraces empathetic toughness. And people say, Ray, that makes no sense, it's an oxymoron. I say, no, it makes a lot of sense, right? Empathetic toughness. What does that mean? You have to first care about people. Think about that. You have to first care about people in order to demand their best. In order to demand their best. Leadership is not necessarily what you do, but it's who you are. We get caught up in the titles and everything else. It's about who you are as a person. And we teach this at the Academy. It's about character, honesty, integrity, resilience, work ethic, attitude. That's leadership. And finally, leadership is not knowledge, IQ by itself. And I see a lot of people nodding. But what might be more important is the wise use of knowledge and good judgment. And guess what? That requires EQ. So it's not knowledge by itself, but it's the wise use of knowledge. Now, the purpose of tonight, this is going to be tough for me to deliver. I'll do my best. So I'll apologize in advance, but I met Kathryn, I think 6 months ago, I would guess. That in itself was an experience. I've been around in my career, in my life, many CEOs and successful people, and I can honestly say that first meeting was a game-changing event. And that's why we're here tonight. I'm going to give you her bio. When we first met, the first thing I did, I went home and I Googled her bio. I read it once. I read it again. And then I read it again. And I said, this is not possible. So I'm going to go through her bio. And I think you'll understand what I just said. Is she doing okay over there? Are you okay, Kate? Yes. All right, you're blushing, by the way. So she grew up in Greenwich, later receiving a Bachelor of Science degrees, not just one, but two, in statistics and computer science, high honors from Wake Forest University. Her scholastic achievements propelled Kathryn in management consulting at Deloitte & Touche, a public accounting firm, in DC, where she specialized in strategic information transformation and business process reengineering. Wow. Now, while in Washington, D.C. at Deloitte, Kathryn spearheaded the creation of a mentoring program, Project Rise, under the National Federation of the Blind, for blind and low vision youth across the state of Virginia. It's amazing. Gets better. In 2023, not that long ago, she earned an MBA degree from the Harvard Business School. And I would argue that's probably one of the best, probably if not the best, not just in this country, but probably the world. Now, she earned that degree as the first totally blind person to have earned that degree. Think about that. Not only that, but that wasn't good enough. So now my understanding is, and she can tell me if I'm wrong, she's working now with Harvard at the MBA level program, business school, to introduce other blind people to get master's degrees. That's who she is. Full-time, so what does she do full-time? Well, she works for KKR, and if we know anything about KKR, it's probably one of the most prestigious leading global investment firms in the world. She's a principal at KKR. Absolutely amazing. Now, there's more. She currently serves as the vice chair for the Lighthouse of San Francisco, which is an organization for the blind and visually impaired. As a matter of fact, when I first met her, we had dinner, and she excused herself. It's about 8 o'clock at night, and she said, "I'm sorry, but I have to leave early. I've got to catch a plane going out to San Francisco." And so there she was. And she literally flew out to San Francisco, I think to do a workshop or whatever. And I'll never forget, she said to me after we had this conversation, she said, "Can you do me a favor?" I said, "What? Can you stand up?" I said, "I can stand up." She gave me a big hug. And so anyway, she's a board member of the Jacobus Tembrock Memorial Fund and on the Board of Business Opportunities for the Blind. She is also a leader in the National Federation of the Blind and previously served as president of the National Association of Blind Students, the largest organization promoting independence and confidence for blind students. There's more. She recently spoke at the Clinton Global Initiative. That was in 2023, and she was named 2023 Changemaker. She is truly a trailblazer for the visually impaired and launched the TAD Foundation. And TAD stands for Together Achieving Dreams. Boy, you talk about a vision. Wow. And she's the founder and the president in 2022. She believes that this organization will completely transform the way society, corporations, and families view the blind and low vision communities. She approaches each day with the motivation to break the stigma and prove that blind people can achieve anything they want in the world. Amazing. It would take most people a lifetime to achieve what she has achieved. I'm not going to give away her age, but she's done all this by the age of 30. The only difference is she is not constrained by her circumstances. The conditions of one's life should not determine the outcome of one's life. Most people could not even think of accomplishing what she has in a short period of time. The only difference is she did this all by the age of 30. Just imagine what she can do in her lifetime. Absolutely amazing. Now, on a more personal note, as I said, I met Kathryn about 6 months ago, and it was literally a game-changing event in my life. And I've been surrounded by a lot of people over my career, and she is by far as good as it gets. Her resilience, service, determination, compassion in her life embodies her tireless and undying spirit of overcoming insurmountable hurdles and obstacles in life. She will never give up her dream. Never. She will never give up her dream to make a difference in so many lives who are defined by their circumstances as she is. She has captured the true essence in life, and it all comes from her heart. There's a famous quote, Eleanor Roosevelt, that best describes Kathryn, and it reads as follows: to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. And if you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, and she will change the world. At the Everest Leadership Academy, we acknowledge, much like the TAD Foundation, that people in different circumstances face different obstacles and different choices. But we should not be constrained by our circumstances. The condition of one's life should not determine the outcome of one's life. Kathryn embodies the essence of the Academy, and that's why we're here tonight. She understood early on in life what are the right things in life you must do. And guess what? And then she did it. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. If Kathryn can come up to this podium, and I will read the award, and I think Sabrina will have the award.
You can give me a hug?
All right, I'm going to read this. Sabrina has the award. All right, so I had to come up with the wording for this award. And so the name of the award is the Trailblazer Leadership Award, presented to Kathryn Webster. Now, here's how it reads. You're not crying.
Well, I'm gonna.
I know you're going to cry. So, in recognition, so here's the award. In recognition of her leadership qualities of innovation, resilience, determination, and her unrelenting passion to make a difference in the lives of those who refuse to let life's circumstances define them. As founder and president of the TAD Foundation, Kathryn has pioneered a transformational change that has challenged the status quo. Think about that. Dated May 10, 2025. Congratulations. Take a picture.
Where do we look?
I don't know. You're fine. Okay. Now, you're going to say a few words.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, Kathryn now will say a few words, and then I think Greg's going to come back up for closing comments. You want me to stand up here, or you want me to sit
I want you
down?
to stay with me.
All right, I'm with you. Go.
All right, hi everyone. Here's the thing. I know if Ray even came up to me and was like, it gave me an insult, I still would smile because of how kind he is. So that was hard. That was a hard one to hear. Thank you so much. I also want to just give a shout out to Lily and Melvin and all the students who came up here tonight. That takes a lot of courage. And When Lily was speaking, all I could think is how I hope that's my daughter one day. I'm already gonna cry. Okay. So I stand up here tonight so deeply honored, profoundly humbled, and so energized. To be recognized in this way is not a personal moment. It's a collective victory. A victory for every person who dares to lead from the margins. A win for every voice that was underestimated, dismissed, or ignored. I hear you, and I'm fighting alongside you. So, not to bring it to a sad moment just for a second, but I was at a funeral this morning, and one of the remarks was referencing that our dear friend who passed is one of us. And it really hit home for me, because what does that really mean? For one of us, it's someone who has deep passion, someone who lives for something bigger than themselves, someone who shows up authentically no matter who is around, someone who doesn't put up a barrier to their heart, but who shares their whole heart with the entire world. When I met Ray, that I knew that he was one of us. I knew that a guy like that will forever be looked up to by me. And in reality, these tables should be very turned right now. He deserves the world because he's given the world to all of us in this room. His light shines so bright in this room. We appreciate and honor the work that brings us here to do everything we do every single day. And one example will never do this justice. So I'm touched by this award, but not for what I've done. Instead, for what still must be done. When I lost my vision at age 22, the world didn't become dark. It actually became clear to me. Clear that our systems aren't designed for everyone. That our world is not shaped out of fairness, but it's shaped out of practicality. It became clear to me that doing the expected was never going to be enough. For the blind kid, for the brown or black kid, for the kid with one parent, for the kid who grew up with no money. It's clear that the power of one person can positively impact many. It's clear that if we're doing something better, we need to start now. Then, when my father passed away 6 months after, I had a choice ahead of me. And I made a choice. And that decision was choose adversity and don't let adversity define me. Instead, I decide that I would let it redefine me. I decided that I wouldn't just advocate, I wanted to activate. I wouldn't just participate, I would lead. And I wouldn't lead quietly, I wanted to lead with my whole heart, authentically, unapologetically, and for those who are just not quite ready to use their voice. As Ray mentioned, leadership is not a title. It's a posture. It's how we show up when no one expects us to. It's how we speak truth even when our voices shake. It's how we challenge systems and we don't just include people. We bring them along for the ride and love them every moment, especially those who've been left out, left behind, forgotten in the mix. Leadership is caring, it's listening, and it's doing it with integrity and intention. So I'm gonna do a little exercise right now. Raise your hand if you know the name of your server. I don't know how many are raised, I'm not gonna ask. I'll make it easier though. Raise your hand if you can name everyone at your table. Okay, so this one's even easier. Raise your hand if you know how someone in this room is feeling besides the, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good, how are you? Lucky for you, I can't see your hands, so no judgment on my part. But I will tell you, Ray's hands have better been up for all three of those, because that's why I love him. And I hope that if you take anything away from this tonight, it's that intention matters. Being a leader is caring about the things that are unseen, seeking empathy for the most granular of things, celebrating the smallest of victories, and being a contributing page in every single person's book that you encounter. So to the young woman who's been told she's too much, I've been told that a lot, be more. To the person with a disability who's been told to stay quiet, speak louder. To the aspiring leader who sees 1,000 barriers in their way, run anyway, push anyway, build anyway. Trailblazers are not born, they are made by fire, by failure, by faith, the people you surround yourself with. They are the ones that refuse to be defined by the label society gives them, who identify gaps and don't just comment, they confront, who know that true leadership isn't about being the first, it's about making sure you're not the last. Even more, it's about bringing someone along with you. No leader is a leader without followership. I think often about how easy it is to accept life as it is, to sit back, keep our heads down, and convince ourselves that good enough is enough. But the truth is, every moment that we choose comfort over courage, we miss the chance to create something revolutionary. It would be much easier for me to quit my job at KKR and run the TAD Foundation, my nonprofit that works to increase the employment rate for the blind community. It'd be even harder to prove my conviction if we see all blind people working for blindness organizations. It's hard to fight the stereotypes every day and then wow them because, oh my God, I dressed good one day, or I gave a strong pitch, or even I changed someone's perspective at work. It's hard to educate the stranger that I'm worthy. And it's hard to do the most mundane thing, but somehow that's seen as impressive because I'm blind. The reality is that I actually have no interest in impressing you. I'm interested in impact. I'm interested in shifting the narrative because it should be shifted. The coolest part about all of this is that each of us in this room has a sphere, a community, a team, a classroom, a platform, and within that sphere, we have the power to change how people think. We have the power to open those doors and to make room at the table. And if there's no table, build one. And I challenge each of you to use that power to make a choice. Don't shy away from it. When you wake up every day, ask not, what can I do today? But what can I change today? Leadership is a verb. It requires action, and bold action changes lives. As I accept this incredible honor tonight, I do so not as a finish line, but as a fuel station, a moment to recharge, refresh, and recommit to leadership as a very important part of every day of our lives. To those of you creating access where there is none, I see you. To those of you making space available, I thank you. And to those of you who are tired, who are discouraged, questioning your voice, I believe in you and I feel it every day. So to everyone in this room, leave a legacy behind that you are proud of. That is my fight every day, to be bold, brave, and absolutely unapologetically yourself through and through. So tonight it's not about me, it's not about Ray, it's actually about all of us. Let's keep trailblazing, let's keep pushing. Let's keep flipping the unexpected on its head. Let's do more until every single barrier is broken and every voice is heard and every single person can stand on a stage like this one, not despite who they are, but because of who they are. Always remember, bold leadership is not born from comfort. It is born from conviction. So be bold, be fierce, and always ask why. Thank you.
All right, another hug.
Thank you so much. You're the best. All right, we're getting out of the way for Greg.
Okay, so I'm going to make one remark and then Greg's going to bring it to a close. That, to me, I alluded to earlier, speaking from the heart. You just heard a person who was speaking from her heart. A very powerful, powerful person. So I'm getting a little emotional. I'll leave it at that. But Kathryn, I want to thank you. We all want to thank you. The world wants to thank you for what you're doing. And you are one remarkable person. Thank you.
Wow. Talk about a fall. That was incredible. I'm actually taking just a moment, and I invite you each to take a moment and internalize and bring this fully on board. I'm bringing it into my heart and actually into my soul. Kathryn, you embody something that is very important to me, and we see it infrequently, and that is pure authenticity. And showing up and being as authentic as you were really matters. And that's an example of the kind of inspiration that we hoped to share with you tonight. I want to thank new friends and my many old friends who've participated with us tonight. The speakers have been incredible, sharing their stories with us. Lily and her book, the 3 students who are currently in the academy, the graduate of the academy who's now at university, and Ray, your personal presence, and Kathryn, your amazing and incredible words for all of us. It's been a wonderful evening. We thank you so much. We hope you had a wonderful time. We appreciate your support in this vital organization. Thank you very much.